Hi, my name is Lauren Siggety, and for my Persuasive video, I'm going to be talking about veteran healthcare, and more specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Mission Act of 2018. On today's agenda, I'm going to be going over a synopsis of what the Mission Act is. Then I'll be covering the pros of amending the Mission Act, data that supports that. Then I'll be going over the cons of amending the Mission Act and data that supports that. Then I'll be giving you a conclusion, which will just be a short synopsis of my opinion. And then I will be giving you a quick peek at my references. The purpose of the 2018 Mission Act was to strengthen VA healthcare by providing veterans with options. The four main goals of the act, however, were to 1, strengthen the VA's ability to recruit and retain clinicians, authorize telehealth across state lines, meaning that a veteran living in California could get care from the VA, say in Tennessee. 3, empower veterans with increased access to community care. This means that veterans who do not live close to a VA hospital at least 40 miles away could receive care from any primary care physician near them, and the VA would cover the cost. Then 4, establish new urgent care benefits. A lot of veterans were scared to go to other hospitals other than the VA. However, if you live 2 hours away from the closest VA, going to an urgent care at a VA hospital isn't necessarily feasible. So the goal of this act was to make it so veterans could use any hospital near them and not have to worry about the cost. The VA would cover the costs. This act serves 9 million enrolled veterans, and there is approximately 1,255 healthcare facilities related to the VA. Not all of them are hospitals. I think only 121 of the facilities are hospitals. Others are either small care clinics or specialty clinics, such as there's a specialty clinic in Palomar, which is a mental health clinic that specializes in PTSD and sexual trauma. So of those 1,255 healthcare facilities, only about 121 of them are actual VA hospitals. Okay, I believe that the problem with the Mission Act is that even though the act was meant to help veterans, the act fails to amend a lot of other problems that the VA faces, such as lacking mental health and women's health. The Mission Act also has taken a lot of the responsibility and placed it onto the shoulders of the veteran, and it hasn't really reached its goal of lowering wait times. A pro of expanding the Mission Act is that veterans are still having to deal with wait times, and we need to figure that out and find a better way. 2, the VA is really lacking in specialized mental health care and women's health care, and that is something that is a big issue and it needs to be fixed. So data supporting the fact that the Mission Act has failed to meet its goal of lowering wait times is that according to data collected by the VA, between October of 2019 and June of 2020, the average wait time for a veteran was still 41.9 days. And I tried looking for an article that would prove otherwise, and there wasn't one. So that means from the time a veteran walks into a VA facility to get an appointment, they have to wait a month for to see a primary care physician or whatever kind of physician they're looking for. Also, the number of veterans that are females is jumping and climbing every year because women are joining the military at a higher rate. From 2005 to 2015, it raised almost about 400,000. So if you can see, we went from 300,000 female veterans to about 700,000 female veterans. Of the 17 million veterans there are in the US, 1.6 of them are female. So it is a very small percentage, but it's growing in number. And then when we look at the VA's mental health care, an article observing the quality of mental health at the VA found that they weren't using evidence-based practice to treat veterans. And so it's really important that we have a more well-rounded, a more evidence and a more equitable mental health care for veterans. So that way, whenever they go to a facility, it's not different. It needs to be the same across the board, and it needs to be the same quality. Cons of expanding the Mission Act is the Mission Act is already providing the best services it can to its veterans, and veterans are happy with their care. Also, con 2 is that the VA outperforms private practices in most sectors. So meaning the VA is doing better than most other private care facilities. Data that supports that veterans are happy with their care is that a research study in 2020 found that on a 10-point scale, the average rating veterans were giving the VA hospital on quality care was a 7.7, which is pretty high. So 74% of patients reported that they were helped by treatment. So that proves that the Mission Act is giving quality care. In an article in 2016, they found that 70% of inpatient visits and 85% of office visits for veterans occurred outside of the VA, which means that the Mission Act was doing its job and giving veterans another option to use other than a VA facility, which is really good, especially for rural veterans who live very far away from the closest VA hospital. In my opinion, though the VA does provide more support than most private hospitals, that is just because there's such a large number of veterans. This does not, however, mean that the care that the hospitals are providing is quality. And then although wait times have slightly improved since the implementation of the Mission Act, this just puts the responsibility on the shoulders of the veterans to have to advocate for non-VA services. It's not always possible if you live close to a VA within 40 miles of a VA hospital to ask to go to a private facility. The VA doesn't want to pay that money, not to themselves. So they often make you jump through hoops. And lastly, the VA is behind on providing well-rounded and immediate mental health care and is not prepared for the large influx of female veterans that will be separating from service. And it's really important that we make sure that our care is, equitable across the board, that no matter what VA facility you're going to, that you're getting the best care possible. And then here are my sources. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.